All right, let's move on. It's time now for our special segment, Charting Trends, where we put the spotlight on individual stocks technicals in greater detail. Mitessh is back with us, and he's going to decode the market from a technical lens. And what are the charts that he's saying? Mitessh, the first stock I want to talk about is Latent View. Now, for the last few days, the stock has been on an uptrend. In fact, today as well, it's up close to about 6%. What is the chart telling you?
The Latent View, in fact, yesterday gave a very good breakout. The long-term charts were always positive. You know, with the yesterday's move, what happened is that the short-term charts have come into focus as well. And I am now looking at a price target of roughly around 600 plus over here. So despite today's gain, I think, there's roughly about 25% kind of an upside left. Now, the stock has moved up today also. So the idea should be to buy slowly, buy a little bit at current levels and accumulate on declines on levels closer to about 460 to about 445. Keep a stop below 400, and I think the stock is heading towards 600 plus levels. And once it hits all-time highs, there's always a chance that, the stock can continue making higher highs. So in that sense, the long-term trend is on the upside. It's a strong buy for me.
Got it. All right. Mitessh, what about the other stock that you're looking at? That's CAMS.
Okay, I'll begin with the disclaimer over here, Nigel. I personally hold the stock. See, CAMS actually peaked out a year and a half, 2 years back. And then since then, the stock had corrected from highs of 3,800, 4,000 to about levels of 2,000. And then spent about last 8-9 months in that range of about 2,000 to about 2,550. And this month, the stock is breaking out of that consolidation on the upside. So the overall setup, the indicator setup on the monthly charts, the moving averages on the monthly charts, all are giving positive crossovers. I think it's restarting an uptrend. And while there is a first target, closer to about levels of 3,050, I think eventually I'm looking at a retest of all-time highs of 3,800 to about 4,000 levels, 3,785 being the highest monthly closing. So I think those are the targets in mind. The idea should be to buy this stock slowly at current levels, add on declines to about 2750, 2720 zones, and keep a stop below 2500. I think the stock is very likely to head towards levels of 3800 over the next 6 to 9 months. And disclaimer, again, I'll repeat that. I personally have this stock in my portfolio, so I have vested interest over here.
All right. What about IFB Industries? You also like that one?
Sorry? IFB
like
Industries.
IFB Industries as well, right?
Yes. See, Sonia, this is another stock, which peaked out in Jan of 2021 and then went into a consolidation where it started making lower highs and lower lows on the monthly and the weekly charts. Last month, or this month rather, in the month of November, we have seen the stock change the sequence and now is getting into the sequence of higher highs. The momentum indicators are all in the positive, suggesting that the long-term trend is very likely, has already reversed, and the stock can now head toward levels of 1390. And we can even look at extended targets of around 1550. So it gives you roughly about 45-50% kind of an upside if you look at the extended targets. Now the stock has run up in the last few weeks, so you would want to buy it slowly. Recommend buying partly over here and adding on declines to about levels of 970 to about 950. That's the buying range. And keep a stop below 905.
HDFC Life, Mitessh.
Yeah, Rima, another stock which I'll begin with a disclaimer that I personally hold the stock in my portfolio, so have vested interest. But after about 3-4 months of consolidation, now the monthly indicators have started looking up. Typically, whenever this happens, you will see the stock get into some kind of an upward trajectory, and therefore it should retest the highest ever monthly closing of 710. But if you look at the price extensions, when you look at Fibonacci extensions over there, I'm getting a target closer to about 800. So there's roughly about 25% of an upside in the next few months, and the stock can be easily accumulated at current levels, add on a 4-5% kind of a decline, and keep a stop loss below 600 over here.
Got it. Okay. Mitessh, what about Prism Johnson? On the fundamental side, I've heard plenty of rumors out there, with regard to what could happen and what potentially is happening. Nothing has been announced officially, but on the charts, it's looking exciting to you. Tell us more.
Very exciting, Nigel. If you look at the last about 7-8 years of data and brought it on the graph and put a monthly chart over there, you will see that about on 9 occasions the stock went about 145, 150, but never had a monthly closing about that. Now this month, as we are still in the we are towards the end of the November, and the stock is closing at 166. All the indicators are very, very positive. Very likely that this time the breakout about this 145, 150 range will materialize. And that will give you a minimum target of roughly about 200, but I'm looking at an extended target of 240, 250, which is about 50% higher from current levels. So buy it here, add more on a 10-point decline and keep it stop below 140. I think this breakout looks to be completed this month. And once that happens, the targets of 245, 250 open up immediately.
All right. Finally, I think Dr. Lal Path Labs is also something that you like. Do you see a big upside here?
This looks like, Sonia, a case of, a stock which corrected extremely, in that COVID era, the stock made a high of 4,000 and then went through a big correction as it came down to about levels of 1,800 and now is giving reversal of that entire decline. So even in that, I think the stock can possibly head towards 3,300 to about 3,500 kind of a range and therefore gives you about 20-25% kind of an upside in the next few months. The monthly charts and the weekly charts have turned positive. So this entire retracement of that fall, itself, as I said, could give you targets of around 3,500, offering you reasonable upside. So in that sense, this is a buy and slowly can be accumulated at current levels. And, if you get a mild decline, let's say to about levels of 2,600, 2,650, add more over there and keep a stop below 2,400. And I'm looking at, as I mentioned earlier, targets of around 3,300 to begin with, and 3,500 is a logical possibility.
The Nifty is holding on. It's been a steady 45 minutes of trade so far, 78 points higher in the Nifty. Reliance Industries has been a big contributor. The stock is up close to about 1%. Mitessh, any thoughts on the morning so far?
The morning has been good. In fact, stronger than what I expected. And Reliance, which I have just recommended to my clients, I think after a long time and after a good correction from levels of 2,600 and the stock declined to about levels of 2,225, the stock is giving signs of a reversal. So a trading bet can be taken here with a stop below 2,350, and I would look at a target of around 24, 30, 40 to begin with, and then maybe even higher levels.
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Mitessh, for joining in and giving us all those stock calls.